Let's have a quick talk about
So
depression.
here we have a little post about depression, and I've had this saved for quite some time, but I got some words, and I think I'm gonna figure out how I want to talk about this. So top portion says the most depressed people hide it the best. I kid you not, they'll talk about their darkness in the most casual, humorous way possible. Reply or the top reply, based upon this, I don't know, is saying that this is a coping mechanism. They're usually the ones who try to be the light for everyone else, and when they can't even be one for themselves. You know, as we already know, especially now, depression, mental illness, anxiety, etc., all kinds of names and labels and umbrella terms are complicated to discuss. And there's never one clear, real answer when it comes to a lot of these things. So let's be careful when we talk about this, but let's also be open and willing to listen. So here we go. So for the top portion, this is both true and untrue, right? We know people like to dress up to cover the mess up, fake it to make it, and do whatever it takes possible to hide the fact that they don't really feel that well and life's not really going that well. And we know people do this because, one, you have to do it out here to get a job, to get hired, so people can talk to you and associate with you, because if you're too unavailable and too distant and too messy, no one's gonna want to deal with you. So one, it's technically not even about depression, it's just life, right? You just have to play along, right? But then on the other side, right, there's people who are depressed, right? And they show it. They do show it, right? They're not the best at hiding it. They actually suck at hiding it, and they make it very obvious that they're not doing that well, right? Let's be real. Some people wear messy clothes, messy hair, crappy makeup, breath stink, hygiene's terrible, attitudes are terrible, and it's so obvious, right? So obvious. We know this. We know this, right? And then there's the in-between where, guess what? Or actually, to me, the most factual part, the people who are actually the most depressed, they don't even know that they're depressed. They don't even know that they're giving off signs of depression. They don't even know. They don't even know. Let's think about that, right? If you've been depressed, right, or you currently are depressed, right, and you don't really know like what's happening to you, right? You don't even know that you're giving it all away. You don't know. So this second portion insists that it's a coping mechanism. Laughter and comedy about the depression is a coping mechanism. This is the thing. This is both ways, and there's no definitive answer, like I said. There's no one answer, right? People who do too much and do too little are signs of depression. What makes you think that a person who makes jokes about themselves or their life, self-deprecation, right, is the only way to show that this is a coping mechanism? It's not always that. We know people who like to make jokes and make laughter about depression and stuff like that because they just think it's funny, right? Now, you're right. Some people who are truly depressed, such as, I'm going to go there, sorry, super skinny people, super obese people, people who are not that attractive and they know it, tend to make jokes about themselves, right? They do. And we know class clowns that exist everywhere, right, are always trying to be funny because somehow really in their life, they got a lot going on. And their only way to deal with it is through laughter. Or one thing is they laugh amongst themselves and they're tired of laughing alone, so they want to laugh with other people, right? If they don't have any laughter at all, right? So let's get to the real stuff, my stuff. So the last thing I'm gonna say to close this out is that from experience and from actually studying this, going to school for this, and still planning to go to school for this and get a degree in all these things in this material, right? The thing is this, right? From experience, I didn't even know I was depressed. When I was in high school as a freshman, one of my English teachers, really pulled me aside and asked me one day, am I depressed? Am I okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Why are you asking me? Because she was like, oh, you don't participate in class anymore. You always sitting in the back. You always got your head down. I'm just wondering if you're okay. I responded to that like, yeah, I'm okay. I mean, what do you mean I'm depressed? Like, I'm great. But the whole time, I'm not, and I wasn't. But I went home and I started to look up depression and look up the symptoms and the signs, and I realized that I was doing so many of the things that are on the list of criteria for depression. I was, overeating. I was stress eat. I still do that till this day sometimes. Like, I was sleeping a lot. I used to participate in class a lot and I wasn't. I love reading and writing, but I wasn't really doing it as a hobby. Like, I wasn't socializing with people. I was in the back of the class. You know, I was just distant from everybody and want to be involved. I showed so many signs and beyond that I'm not going to list, but you get the point, right? That I had. And I didn't even know that that was giving it away. People who are depressed don't necessarily have to show it, or they don't, you know, they might not show it at all. They might not show anything at all. Right? It's no one answer. And the same with the coping mechanisms. Like, some people use laughter. Some people always try to be funny. Some people do too much. They want to be involved and be on the scene all the time, but they're still depressed. And some people be avoiding everything and don't even want to be noticed, and they're depressed, right? You can't tell anything. Like, you really can't, ultimately, because there's no real one answer. You can study it the best, and sometimes the criteria is mixed. Sometimes it's one thing or all these things, and you cannot really ever define it. And the last thing about being the light for other people, right? Listen, people who gotten the better of their depression, of course they're going to make jokes about it. Of course they're going to reference it, right? But people who don't even know a damn thing about depression make jokes about depression. So how can you really tell? How can you really tell? And the thing is this, right? People who are trying to be the light and they mean it, they're doing it. Yeah, you can say it's a coping method, right? Mechanism, but, you know, they really genuinely might want other people to realize, like, yo, I feel like crap. My life is not going well. And I'm just telling you, and I'm making some jokes so you can just wake up real quick and realize, like, yo, this is not fun. And it's actually not funny. The jokes are actually reverse psychology. And it's to get your attention and to make you laugh, but then you make you pause like, oh, wait, damn, I feel like that, or wait, that actually makes sense. That's the thing about it. So whoever made this post, you know, not saying they're wrong, but they're definitely not right, because it's more to depression than one answer. It is an umbrella, it is a spectrum, it is wide, and there are thousands of ways to, you know, pick apart and analyze and study depression. So, like I said in the beginning, be careful when you talk about it. It's a sensitive topic, especially nowadays, but always be open-minded and be willing to discuss it.